It's time for a mental health check. How are we doing now? Had a full day to think about it. You got to take in some of the insults from the competing and rival fan bases. Some real cutting stuff.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
And always very impactful from, teams that haven't made it to the Eastern Conference Finals since 1992. But for me, the pain wore off. In some ways, losing 4 games in a row, it kills a man. What do they say in Shawshank Redemption?
Hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane.
But I'm already getting my postmortem together. I know that this was a really great season, and part of you says that you just want to see this go on autopilot and watch our young talent continue to develop. But that is the exact wrong thing to do currently in the NHL. It's going to be an incredibly interesting summer, so let's talk about it.
The worst picture of all time.
So this is my second time recording this. I actually thought that I could just do a stream of consciousness rant about the season, about the playoffs, and about the future. But I got stuck pretty good, and I started talking about some stuff that could probably touch a nerve with certain individuals. I think that there's going to be some tough decisions being made. Doc, Bolduc, Veleno, Laine, Xhekaj. They're all going to be unofficial or restricted free agents this summer. And that's not even considering the individuals on the Rocket that are coming up for free agency. Belzile, Blais, Tuck, Farrell, Croix, Davidson, Chesson. I might touch on that in this video. I don't think that my opinions are controversial, but we all know how this works. Certain players become fan favorites with certain segments of the fan base. And it's tough to hear that maybe the team grew past them or their window to prove themselves, it's no longer open. Or for some, it just might be time to move, to find different scenery. Before we get into it, thank you so much again for your continued support. Everyone who's new here, why not consider subscribing? You can help me reach 26,000 subscribers. We're on our way to 30,000. That'll probably happen someday. Everybody else, hit that like button, comment, hype the video. Helps me with searchability or something. So I've already kind of compartmentalized what I think about the playoffs and what I thought about the season. So the past, I'm okay with the past. I'm okay with everything that happened in the past. And, like I said in the intro, losing 4 games in a row, that kind of helped me swallow the sour pill of the playoffs. The sour pill of the playoffs coming to an end, that is, because it was a fantastic run. Pretty much everybody is getting their feelings out online. If you're on social media, you've probably heard everybody's takes, and there's some good ones out there. There's some bad ones too. But the one that I came to and the one that I'm seeing perpetuated quite a bit is if you had been told that the Montreal Canadiens would make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, win 1 game during those finals, and then ditch out, that is tremendous progress of just squeaking in last season. This season said a lot about certain players on the team. We're seeing individuals that are proving that they should be part of this future in Montreal. And this prolonged playoff run gave management intel into which players are going to be valuable come time to really consider that you need to go deep. Because right now it's all sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows everywhere. But at some point in time, we're going to have to be critical about Hughes, Gorton, Martin St. Louis' decisions. But the individuals who are already cracking on them and making loud but minority opinions about how the St. Louis coaches, for example, or which players should never have been acquired because they're bums or they're injury prone or so on and so forth. That's all water under the fridge. The team isn't supposed to be where they're at already. They've done excellently. That being said, there are some things that you could be critical about right now. Why didn't Martin St. Louis make any changes after game 2, after game 3? There were fresh bodies. You were able to pick from fresh bodies. So if it's a question of, hey, He rolled the roster that he thought was the highest skilled, the best to go up against the Canes. Fine, that's one thing, but rotate the lines. He didn't start rotating until the second period. He tried Newhook and Demidov with Suzuki, and you could see they were out there to prove themselves, but jeez, the Canes just had such stronger legs. They were done. They were done at that point. Putting Gallagher into the lineup, putting Xhekaj into the lineup, that's rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. But at least try something different. I hope that question and others at locker cleanout tomorrow. By the way, I'm going to probably cover that. They're cleaning out their lockers tomorrow, and that's usually when they give the end of season postmortem debrief. Some answers definitely going to be answered tomorrow. Injuries, decisions like that, other decisions that are made, what the future looks like, what could we expect over the summer, and so on. But getting back to my point, yeah, I wish they would have changed something, because it made the noise outside with the fan base so loud to see the same lineup was being rolled, who have been just so ineffective since that first game. The other question is the power play. Power play did not look good in these playoffs. How are they going to solve that? Does injecting a second line center immediately solve that problem? I don't think so. Can you chalk up a lot of it to injuries that are supposedly rampant along the team, according to Marco D'Amico, which I trust pretty implicitly? And then the last thing in terms of the present, at least I'm coupling this into the present. Who is injured and who's going to need potentially surgery? Another thing that we might find out tomorrow. I'm hoping that nobody requires surgery, but it often happens. And now looking into the future, and when I say future, it's over the summer, it's the start of next season, and that's where I think I'll end it for this particular video. But maybe we'll look into the Whiskeylung crystal ball in a video coming up, because I have been thinking nonstop about how this team is going to trend over these next few years. And I mean, I'm extremely excited, but also scared, worried. It's so difficult right now. You can't make mistakes in management in this current iteration of the NHL. But I digress. Let's move on to what I think is going to happen in the future, or maybe like the very near future. I'll bring it right up to the season start. So the draft. The draft is important. It is important. We have a first round pick. The Canadiens will pick 28th overall. The thing is, this runs into the next category about the upcoming future, trades. I believe that this pick will be packaged, because more importantly, this is a huge summer for the management team to acquire a big top six player. It has to be. This is an act now period for the Montreal Canadiens in this NHL. Prices are only going to go up. You're going to be shocked at some of the prices going into next season, some of the signings, some of the contracts that you're going to see. And last summer, when Noah Dobson got his contract with the Montreal Canadiens, and certain people had sticker shock, well, you're really going to be able to screw your head on correctly, because not only has there been a bunch of contracts that made that contract look like a steal, just wait. I'm telling you, just wait. So if Montreal wants to go out and acquire someone, they're going to be paying. If this is a surefire top six guy, the trade is going to cost quite a bit, depending on what their contract currently looks like and what kind of season they had last season, whether or not there's a little risk involved. But yeah, the trade is probably going to cost something, and the contract's going to cost something. So that could be a tough pill to swallow. Who's going to get traded? The thing with Montreal is there's a pretty deep prospect pool, but redundancies. What is unfortunately kind of happening right now is there's guys down in Laval they're stuck down there. They can't break through that ceiling. Even if it was just to get a few games during the regular season and show that they have an NHL computer, show that they have the skills that would be useful in maybe a different market. Montreal has had difficulties showcasing those individuals and creating equity in them, that they might be worth something on the trade market. There are also a few players on the team, and I won't get too into this because this is just prognosticating, but there are a few individuals on the team that they may have outlived their usefulness. Oliver Kapanen had an excellent rookie season. His value could never be higher. Is he the type of player that Montreal wants to bet on? Has he truly identified himself as an individual who could crack middle six? I'm a little bit doubtful there. I'd like to see what a season in the NHL could do for an individual down on Laval. What about an Owen Beck? So that's all up in the air. But I can tell you that the conditions are just right for a big trade. Some of it offloading, and the big satisfying back scratch is that it would satisfy a 2C role. Otherwise, another trade that I would just love to see, and I don't know how they do it, not with the assets that they currently have. And I think the only way they do it is if it's in addition to the 2C role, finding another big rangy defenseman, right shot defenseman, someone who is miserable to play against, someone who can clear the front of the net. Is that David Reinbacher? I hesitate to say yes, at least not next season. How does that happen? When does that happen? That is definitely a hole in the Montreal Canadiens defensive pairings. It's got to be right shot. It's got to be able to clear the front of the net. And it would be lovely if he was good, but we could see potentially a Band-Aid solution there. And then finally, starting the new season, what's going to be exciting then? Well, like I said, we're probably going to see some prospects get some time, because depending on who leaves with a trade, who stays in terms of restricted or unrestricted free agents, and what exactly happens with Brendan Gallagher. There could be a pretty fresh starting lineup for the Montreal Canadiens in October. But one of the things that you can almost assume for sure is that Jakub Dobeš will be Montreal's new starting goaltender, if he wasn't already. And then what happens to Samuel Montembeault? Well, I don't know. I'd say that him being packaged in some sort of a trade is possible, but his value right now is at an all-time low. It's just I don't understand how they would be able to get that on the rise again unless they give him another chance, which is giving me hives just thinking about. But we'll just have to wait and see. And yeah, I'm excited for the future. I hope you are too, because there are so many good things that are happening for this team right now, and they just need to continue trending upwards. A lot of people saying that the Montreal Canadiens will regress next season. You're not going to see another 50-goal season for Cole Caulfield. You're not going to see another 100-point season for Nick Suzuki. There's no way that Lane Hutson can continue to improve and continue to shirk that sophomore slump. But consider this, Dobeš, he's going to have the net. All those losses during the, hey, can we fix Montembeault period of time? You don't have to worry about those. Dobeš can get hot and stay hot, and he'll get rolled. Lane Hutson, he's never going to stop his level of compete. He's always going to be at that. You can just tell. Everyone else, I'm choosing to knock on wood and plead the fifth, because I don't know if they're dealing with injuries, and I don't know how severe and what kind of nagging injuries they'll bring into next season. There could definitely be a regression for certain players and certain key players, unfortunately. But I want to talk about Ivan Demidov for a second. I truly feel that Ivan Demidov will find his footing a lot easier next season, especially what he's been through in the playoffs this season. He rose to the occasion. He didn't have a whole lot of help, and you wish he would have rose earlier, because there could have been other opportunities for him during these playoffs. But I think he understands the level of compete that his opponents can bring, and just exactly how good he needs to be in order to not just overachieve in the NHL, but exceed expectations. And when he finally does sign a contract, I think that his buddy Hutson will convince him to go team friendly. Call it a hunch, because I just feel like this kid, he wants to win. He's seeing all his pals take friendly contracts. But my advice and my word to you, Kent Hughes, because I know you're watching, sign him quickly. Do it fast. Get it over with. It's not going to get any cheaper. That's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your continued support. We're not stopping. All summer long, going to be bringing you content. Stick around. This is the team we love, and we're going to talk about them. But you guys know what to do. Like the video, helps me out with, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'd love to have you. And as always, I will see you down in the comments.